Hi, I hope you guys are keeping well. So we'll continue with Madam Rides the Bus. This is on page 122, and we are proceeding with volume 3, part 3. So till now, we can understand about how Vali, an 8-year-old girl, and how she has a dream to travel, from her village to the nearest town, and how she has saved money for, and how she has calculated how to sneak out of the house and enjoy this bus ride and come back before her family comes to know. So let's just continue. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. Now, this was not a normal journey. Remember, she's an 8-year old, and at the same time, she has cautiously tried to save every penny to pay for the bus fare, and she had made very very long plans. This was not something that happened in a day or two. She must have planned and saved money before she was ready to go for this bus ride. Elaborate plans, lengthy plans, extensive plans she had made. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way. So thriftily meant she must have spent money very carefully, the small pocket money that children get to eat sweets or candies. So she must have, the author is assuming that she must have saved all that money to pay for the bus fare. She did not have any extra money to pay for goodies or candies. Resisting, she was trying to control herself. Every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and the like. You know how children are. So even in during the bus ride, when she had the opportunity to buy things, when hawkers used to come to buy to sell goodies for the travelers in the bus, and even when she used to stand at the main door of a house, Wali made sure that she's not spending any money on food or candies or toys. And finally, she had saved a total of 60 paisa. Remember, the bus fare was 30 paisa for one way. So, because Vali had to come back also, so 30 plus 30, she had saved exactly 30 paisa for a very, very long time trying to control herself. And how difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair. So, she's trying to recollect that there was a fair in her village, you know, and fair is. The meaning of fair is that it's an exhibition of everything that you can imagine from nearby villages, nearby areas, and the place where this exhibition is held. And then you have a number of things to eat and enjoy, and joy and rides for children and things to buy. So how she had controlled not to buy things when she went for the village fair. In Hindi and Urdu, we call it a mela, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round even though she had the money. That means she had controlled her emotions. As an 8-year-old, it is very difficult to control emotions. You are not probably in a frame of mind where you know what the things that you should be controlled. As children are, they have a strong desire, and they have no control over it. So, but as an 8-year-old, she did that, and she did not go for this ride, the merry-go ride. She saved that money for the bus fare. After she had enough money saved, but now when she had 60 paisa, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. Imagine how will your parents react if you sneak out of the house at 8 years, which is a very big thing. So she has to make sure that her mother does not come to know about her bus travel. But she managed this without too much difficulty. She did manage to get out of the house very easily. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap for about 1 to 4 or so. So every day, her mother would take a nap from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock, which is roughly three hours. Wali always used these hours for her excursions as she stood looking from the doorway of a house. So this was a time when she used to sit at the main door of a house, and that is the time when she used to enjoy all the activities going in a street, and how she used to notice the bus coming, and the travelers trying to hop in the bus and come out, and get down, and how she used to notice all the activities happening in the street. So this was the time when she used to stand at the main door, or sometimes even ventured out into the village. Sometimes she would just go and roam around in the village while her mummy or mother was sleeping or taking rest. Venturing means went cautiously, very, very carefully. Today, these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. So she's trying to use a good 3 hours, to get out of the village, take this bus ride, something that she's been dreaming for a very, very long time, and come back before her mother wakes up. The bus rolled on now, cutting across a bare landscape. Now the bus is on the main road, where there is nothing. It's an open area, open field, and now rushing through a tiny hamlet. And now the bus is going through a tiny hamlet, a very small village. Hamlet is where you will not find many villagers or inhabitants living, or past an odd wayside shop. So the author has come back in the present scenario situation, and Vali is in the bus, and these are things that she's noticing when she is traveling in the bus. So out of when they came out of the small village, past an odd wayside shop, there's a very unusual shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them. Sometimes, in the process of driving, the driver used to overtake the bus. Overtaking means taking control over the other bus or vehicle which is moving on the road, and trying to get ahead of that vehicle. And Vali imagined that it seemed as if the bus in which Vali is traveling is going to jump on that other vehicle. It seemed so, when you speed up the bus, up another vehicle that was coming towards them, or a pedestrian crossing the road. And sometimes it seemed as if a person who's walking on the road will be crushed. But lo, fortunately, somehow it passed on smoothly. Everything passed on very smoothly. She's trying to mention that there were no mishaps, no accidents, leaving all obstacles safely behind, leaving all difficult things behind. Every blockage. Trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them, and simply stood there, helpless for the moment by the side of the road, before rushing away in the opposite direction. So she could feel as if the trees were also trying to touch the bus. Maybe the branches of the trees were driven with the bus, and then when the bus started moving forward, it was just it just went back in the same position. Suddenly, Vali clapped her hands with glee. Glee means happiness. She was laughing with happiness as she started clapping. A young cow, this is what Vali noticed when she was sitting in the bus, tail high in the air, was running very fast. As cows, when you have these small calves, and you must have noticed that either in your village or home, tail high in the air, and it's jumping high in the air very excitedly, was running very fast right in the middle of the road. There was a small calf who was running in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus, the same bus in which Vali was traveling. The bus slowed to a crawl, and slowly the bus started moving slowly, just to make sure that it doesn't run over the cow. And the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. And the driver is using his horn, just so that the cow gets distracted and moves away from the running bus. But the more he honked, the more he was honking, he was horning. He was using the horn. The more frightened the animal became and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. So the more the driver indicated that the cow has to move by, by using the horn, the animal became so nervous and scared that it started moving faster, and that also most importantly right in front of the bus. That means the speed of the bus has been controlled. Somehow this was very funny to Vali, and Vali found all this very, very, very amusing, very funny. She laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes, and she could feel that she was crying, not of because of of some sadness or worry, but she was crying because she was, for her it was a very amusing, very humorous scene. "Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough?" called the conductor. "Better save some for tomorrow." And the conductor is like, "Didn't you laugh enough? Save some laughter for tomorrow." That means enough. At last the cow moved off the road, and suddenly the cow realized and it got off the road. As soon the bus came to a railroad crossing, a speck of a train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. And you could see that, from a distance, from a far away distance, you could see that the train looked very small, very tiny. But as soon as the train started approaching nearer to the bus, it seemed really big as it drew nearer, as it started drawing nearer, coming nearer. Then it rushed past the crossing gate. When you have railway tracks for the trains, and you know, but there are odd and even times when the railway tracks are closed for the train, and the common people or the traffic can move from the railway tracks. It's almost like crossing a bridge. So the bus is standing waiting for the train to pass, and Vali is noticing all this excitement, something that she has not seen in her 8 years of life. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar. It's roaring. That means it's, the sound of the train has been compared metaphorically with the roaring of a lion. Very, very, very loud noise. And rattle, shaking the bus. Rattling means, you have a very moving sound when the bus, sorry, when the train is moving. Kataka 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 kataka, something like that. Something which makes a lot of noise. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. Now the bus has reached the train station. From there, it crossed through a busy, well laid out shopping street. You have these popular streets where people often go to buy, things, day to day things, groceries, clothes. And turning entered a wider thoroughfare. It reached a very busy public place. Public place means a place where anyone can come and sit and sell things, open for everyone. Such big bright looking shops. She has never seen such a big market in her life. Maybe the market that she has in her village is very tiny, so she was surprised to see such a big market and such big shops, colorful shops. What glittering display of clothes and what merchandise, such big crowds. And she's like, wow, I mean, look at the amount of choice that you have for clothes and other things. Struck dumb. um Ideally, it should be dumbstruck. I don't know why is it the other way. So let's just try to dumbstruck. That's a phrase used to indicate utter surprise. When someone is extremely surprised, with wonder, with surprise. Wally gaped at everything. She started looking at everything, with surprise. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Wally. So they have reached the destination, they have reached a small town, and everyone got down except Wally. Why? Because Wally has to sit in the same bus. She doesn't have money to spend for shopping or eating, and her plan was that she will go, and because the travel journey was for 45 minutes, and then she will sit in the same bus and come back in the same bus. So then she had calculated that she's going to be back home before her mother wakes up. Hey, lady, said the conductor. This is what the conductor said. Aren't you ready to get up? He's trying to say, don't you want to come out of the bus? This is as far as your 30 paisa takes you. So the conductor said, this is as far as the bus fare of 30 paisa takes. We have reached our destination. No, Wali said, I'm going back on the same bus. She said, no, I'm going back in the same bus. She took another 30 paisa from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. That is the return the journey bus fare. Why? Is something the matter? And he's like, is something wrong? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. She's like, don't worry, everything is fine. I've just come to experience a bus ride. And don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you're here? The conductor is like, don't you want to come out and experience the all the fun and all the shops all by myself? Oh, I would be too much afraid. I'm much too afraid. So he's like, no, no, no. Wali is like, no, I think I'll be afraid if I'm going alone. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, but you weren't afraid to come in the bus. So the conductor is like, you were not afraid to travel all this way. So how come you are afraid to come out of the bus? Nothing to be afraid of about, she answered. Well, why don't you go to that stall over there and have something to drink? So the conductor said, why don't you go and drink something? Nothing to be afraid of about that either. Oh no, I could not do that. Well then, let me bring you a cold drink. So the conductor said, and Wali said, no, I can't do that. And in response, the conductor said, then okay, then let me buy you a drink. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me your my ticket, that's all. So Wali responded and she said, it seems that Wali has a lot of self respect, even though she's only 8. She said, I don't have money to buy food. I just have money to buy the bus fare, bus ticket. It will be my treat and not cost you anything. No, no, she said firmly. She said, no, I'm not going to take any treat. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin journey. Again, there weren't any passengers. It's a very lean time of the day. So there weren't any passengers and the bus was moreover empty. And because she refused to take anything from stranger, from the conductor, so she sat back. This is the end of volume 3. So a couple of questions. Keep on doing the questions, and then we'll proceed with the fourth volume. I am planning to finish, and then we'll discuss question answers.